प्रथमं सद्गुरुं वन्दे श्रीकृष्णं तदनन्तरं गुरु पापात्मना त्राता श्रीकृष्णस्त्वमलात्मना चेतो दर्पणमार्जनं भवमहा दावाग्निर्वापनम् श्रेयः कैरवचन्द्रिका वितरणम् विद्यावधूजीवनम् आनन्दाम्बुधिवर्धनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृता स्वादनं सर्वात्मस्नपनं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्ण संकीर्तनम् नमः कमलनाभाय नमः कमलमालिने नमः कमलपादाय नमस्ते कमलेक्षण यो ब्रह्माणं विदधाति पूर्वं यो वै वेदांश्च प्रहिणोति तस्मै तद्गुह् देवमात्मबुद्धिप्रकाशं मुमुक्षुर्वै शरणमहं प्रपद्ये। राधा कृष्ण भगवान की जय, श्रीमद् सद्गुरु सरकार की जय। नियम अनुसार थोड़ी देर हरिनाम संकीर्तन कर लीजिए, तत्पश्चात आध्यात्मिक विषय में कुछ बातें होंगी। भजो गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाला
भजो गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाला
भजो गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाला
भजो गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाला
भजो गिरिधर गोविंद गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाला
भजो गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाला
भजो गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाला
भजो गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाला
ओ भजो गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाला
भजो गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाला
ओ भजो गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाला
भजो गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाला
ओ भजो गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाला
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 ओ भजो गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाला
भजो गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाला
ओ भजो गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाला
भजो गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाला
ओ भजो गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाला
भजो गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाला
बोले राधा कृष्ण भगवान की
जय।
The divine souls, devotees of the Supreme Lord. First, let me say Radhe Radhe to each and every one, and my pranam, my humblest prostrations to each and every one of you. We have been listening to many lectures during this sadhana shivir also. Daily we see the lectures of Jagat Gurutam Shri Kripalu Mahaprabhu. Main kaun, mera kaun. So I thought I should not be given lecture on philosophy. As we've seen enough and heard enough lectures. There are many new aspirants, seekers in this sadhana shivir also. And even those of us who have been in the satsang for quite a number of years, time and time again, there are certain things that we have to be reminded of. There's a Vedanta Sutra which says, Avritti rasakri dupadeshat. Avritti ka matlab bar bar. Avritti means again and again. Listen again and again. Read again and again. What? Upadesh. The instructions and the philosophy given by a genuine saint. Shrotriya Brahmanishta Mahapurush. Jnaninah Tattvadarshinaha. Bhagavan Krishna says in Gita, chapter 4, verse 34, Guru is qualified to be Guru, only two things are important. Jnaninaha, meaning he has knowledge, complete knowledge of all the Vedas, all the scriptures, all the Shastras. And Tattvadarshinaha means he has practical experience. He has seen God. He has attained the divine vision, divine love, divine bliss. Only such a person is qualified to be Guru. So that hearing that philosophy from such an entity again and again. Why? Our memory, हमारे जो यादाश है वो बहुत कमजोर है इस कल युग में. In the age of Kal Yuga, our memory, the power to remember, is very weak. This is one of the false defects of Kal Yuga. We forget very quickly. And then we become lazy and careless. So this is why Vedanta Sutra is saying, listen again and again, read again and again. Don't read some book like Gita, Bhagavad. No. The philosophy given by a true saint. Because he will simplify it for us and tell us what the scriptures are actually saying. If we read by ourselves, we'll only become more confused. A lot of people, read Gita. So many people know Gita, the whole Gita, by memory. Little children in India, 5 years, 7 years, they can recite the entire Gita. Does it mean they know what is in Gita? Nothing. श्रुति पुराण बहु कहे उपाई छूट ही न अधिक अधिक उरझाई. Tulsidas Ji Maharaj says that there are so many contradictions and complications in the scriptures that if we were to read by ourselves, instead of we gain knowledge, we only become more confused. भगवद रसिक रसिक की बातें रसिक बिना को समझ सके ना, खग जाने खग ही कै भाखा. Tusadas ji makes a very beautiful reference. He says, just as a bird, pakshi, a bird, alone can understand the language of another bird. जो पक्षी बोलते हैं वो पक्षी ही समझ सकते हैं. In the same way, only a Rasik saint, one who's attained the divine bliss, divine knowledge of Radha Krishna, can understand what is written by another Rasik saint. So, the instructions, the philosophy, the explanation given by a genuine saint, Upadeshat. I want to talk more on the practical aspect of bhakti. जो हम यहाँ आए, जो यहाँ आए करने के लिए यहाँ आए. What we have come here to do, to practice. देखो, भगवान श्री कृष्ण says to Uddhav in Bhagavad Mahapuran, Bhaktya sanjataya bhaktya vibhratyutpulakantanum. 11 canto, 3rd chapter, 31st verse. Shri Krishna says to Uddhav, we have to do bhakti to get bhakti. एक भक्ति हमें करना है और एक भक्ति गुरु कृपा से ही मिलेगा. One bhakti we have to practice, we have to do. And one bhakti we are going to get through the grace of the Rasik saint, true Guru. So the bhakti we have to do is called sadhana bhakti. What we do in sadhana. The bhakti we are going to attain is called siddha bhakti. ये हमें नहीं करना, we don't have to do that. That we will attain only through the grace of Guru. So this sadhana bhakti, why do we have to do sadhana bhakti? Man kram vachan chhari chaturai bhajat hi kripa karat raghurai nirmal man jan so mohi pawa mohi kapat chhal chhidra na bhava. Through the practice of sadhana bhakti, the antahakaran, the inner machinery, the mind gets purified. You see, we have to make a vessel, ye patra banana hai. We have to make a vessel for receiving that divine love, divine bliss of Shri Radha Krishna. Guru, even he wants to give it to us, he can't. If this divine love, this bhakti, this siddha bhakti is given to an undeserving soul, that person will be burnt to ashes. तो पहले पात्र बनाना. First we have to make the vessel, we have to make the heart, the mind pure, nirmal man. In ancient times, the Guru, the true Guru, will give diksha, initiation, Only after the disciple's heart, the mind has become completely pure. Only when the vessel is made, then he will give Diksha. This is like making connection from the electrical pole to the house. The moment the connection is made, you will have light. Unfortunately, this ancient practice has been polluted in this age of Kali Yuga. Everybody is given Diksha. So many Guruji. कान में फूकते हैं मंत्र. They are given mantra in the airs. And disciple is deserving or not, nobody cares. बाहर में जा. The only thing they are concerned about is how many chelas, how many disciples I should have. A true guru, a true saint doesn't do that. First, we have to accept the true saint, the true guru in our heart. He doesn't make us his disciple as yet. वो चेला नहीं बनाते. Accept him. You are my guru. Inside, in the heart. Don't tell him, andar se bolo. Say from the heart. He will come and sit. And then we follow his instruction, Agya Palan. And slowly, slowly the heart, the mind will become purified. The vessel will be made. And the moment the heart has become completely purified, we have completely surrendered, then now Guru gives Diksha. And the moment we get Diksha, we will attain everything. Divine bliss, divine knowledge, divine vision, everything. Free from Maya forever. How many people have gotten Diksha? Did anything happen to you? Did you feel anything even? Nothing. So that's not Diksha. So first the vessel has to be made. वो पात्र बना. ये काम हमें करना. First, we have to make the vessel, the heart, the mind pure. This work we have to do. No guru, no saint, no Bhagavan, no God can do this for us. This sadhana we have to do. Oh Maharaji, please do my sadhana. Hey Shri Krishna, please do sadhana for me. It's too difficult. If people would go to Sri Maharaji, Jagat Gurutam Sri Kripalu Mahaprabhu, we lovingly call him Sri Maharaji, and they will say, Maharaji, I will do anything for you. I will build your mandir, I will do all the seva. Please do one thing for me. Please do sadhana for me. I can't do it. And Sri Maharaji would laugh. Bewakoof hai. He would say, look, if any saint or Bhagavan could do sadhana for some individual, the world will no longer exist. All the saint will have to do is say, Hey Shri Krishna, I have one desire. One desire. That you free the uncountable souls in the uncountable solar systems who are under the control of Maya and suffering. Free them from Maya and give them divine bliss, divine love forever. And so the uncountable souls, including us, in the uncountable solar systems in the universe, will become eternally free from Maya and attain divine bliss, divine happiness forever. God doesn't lose anything by granting such a boon. He is Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnata Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. God is such an entity that if you subtract infinite, He remains infinite. But He cannot do it, because He is bounded by the divine law that He can only give divine love, divine bliss, free the soul from Maya when that soul has completely surrendered to Him. Mameva ye prapadyante maya me tantarantite. Chapter 7 verse 14 Gita. So sadhana we have to do, we the individual. Guru will guide. Guru guide, and he does lots inside according to our surrender, according to how much we follow. Agya palan. Most important, Agya palan. Following the instructions of Guru. Not according to what our minds say. Ye hum log karte hain. This is what we do. Guruji says do this. Guruji say, but I think I know better. I should do like this. It's called manmani. And we have been doing that from uncountable lifetimes. You have met saints uncountable time. And Guru, he instructs us, but we do what our minds say. If we want that we should uplift, that we should attain that supreme aim of God realization, eternal happiness, eternal bliss, then we have to follow Guru's instruction. So Guru will instruct. Guru goes inside. Apne baithaya na, we have put him to sit. Uncountable lifetimes of sanskar is stored in there. वो लड़ते हैं. He is fighting. There's a big Mahabharat. We have no idea what he's doing in there. How much Guru is doing, we can't even know. Don't worry about that. Just you follow Guru's instruction and you do sadhana. This is what we have to do. Now, in doing sadhana, we should not love or worship God, Bhagavan. Then whom should we worship? We have to worship only Shri Krishna. But isn't Shri Krishna God, Bhagavan? Yes. Shri Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Bhagavad Mahapuran. The Bhagavad says, Shri Krishna is God, Bhagavan himself. But he is not only Bhagavan. An example. There is a Supreme Court judge. And he has the power to give out the death sentence. When he is in his chamber. But when that Supreme Court judge comes home, to his home, no one treats him like a Supreme Court judge. To his mother, he's an illiterate son who knows nothing. To his wife, he's a loving husband. To his children, a caring father, etc. So, just as the Supreme Court judge is not only a Supreme Court judge, but he is also a father, a husband, a child, a friend, father, etc. In the same way, Shri Krishna is Bhagavan, God, but he is not only Bhagavan, he is also Bhagavan. You see, God or Bhagavan is a form of Shri Krishna, a partial manifestation, descension. In that partial manifestation, he is known as Karanaudashai Vishnu or Mahavishnu. Look, there are uncountable solar systems in the universe. Uncountable galaxies. Scientists are now accepting all of this we have been saying in our scriptures from beginningless time. And scientists are now accepting as far as they can reach. This small little galaxy we live in called the Milky Way, there are thousands and thousands of suns. Every sun is surrounded by planets. It's called a solar system. Brahmand. And every solar system has a Brahma, Vishnu, Shiv. Bhinna bhinna pratiloka vidhata, bhinna Vishnu, Shiva mana dishitrata. Sankhya chitaja samastina vishwanam kadachana, Brahma Vishnu Shivadinam tatha sankhya na vidyate. Devi Bhagavat. The scripture says it may be possible to count every single grain of sand on the earth, but it's not possible to count how many Brahmas there are, how many Vishnu, how many Shiv, or how many solar systems. So there are uncountable Brahma, the one who creates that solar system. Uncountable Vishnu, the one who sustains that solar system. And uncountable Shiv, the one who destroys it. And all these uncountable Brahma, Vishnu, Shiv, they come from that Karnodashai Vishnu or Mahavishnu. But even this Mahavishnu is a partial manifestation of Shri Krishna. Vedavyas, the writer of all the Puranas, the one who has divided the Vedas into four. Originally there was only one Ved. He divided it into four. That's how we got the name Veda Vyas. Veda Vyas is also Avesha Avatar, descension of Shri Krishna. He says, Yasyaika nishwasita kalamathavalambya Jivanti loma vilaja jagadandanatha Vishnur mahasa iha yasya kala vishesho Govindamari purusham tamaham bhajami. Brahma Sanghita, chapter 5, verse 48. Veda Vyas is saying, I am a worshipper of that Govind, that Shri Krishna, whose partial manifestation is known as Mahavishnu. It doesn't mean that Mahavishnu is smaller than Shri Krishna. It is Shri Krishna himself. All these Brahma, Vishnu, Shiv, they are all Shri Krishna himself. Not smaller. Shri Krishna himself has become all of them. They have the same power as Shri Krishna. Is he himself? But this Mahavishnu is a form of Shri Krishna in which there are pure opulence, magnificence. It is extremely difficult to love him. He's always serious, Gambhir. He never smiles. His wife, Mahalakshmi, she's pressing his feet all the day and night. He doesn't even look at her. उसकी तरह देखते नहीं. So it's very difficult to love this Bhagavan, this God. So, the Rasik saints, since it's extremely difficult for us to love this fear-inspiring, if we think about God, Bhagavan, who's Bhagavan, God, that almighty, supreme entity, and we think about ourselves, we are such sinful, fallen souls. It will be very difficult to love. There will be fear, and where there is fear, we cannot love. So the Rasik saints have laid down devotion to Sri Krishna through the closest of human relationships. These human relationships, they are 5 in number. They are called Ras or Bhav, and they are 5 in number. Shant Bhav, Dasya Bhav, Sakhya Bhav, Vatsalya Bhav, Madhurya Bhav. Shant Bhav, this is the lowest. One loves Sri Krishna as a subject loves the king. The yogis, they worship this form of Sri Krishna. He's also known as Narayan, Paramatma, Char Bhuja, 4 arms. Higher than that, Dasya Bhav. The devotee loves Sri Krishna as a servant loves the master. Hanuman, etc. Loves Bhagwan like this. Higher than Dasya Bhav, Sakhya Bhav. Loving Sri Krishna as one would love a friend. Arjun, etc. Sugriv, Vishan loved Sri Krishna, the cowherd boys of Vrindavan. Love God in this manner. Higher than Sakhya Bhav, Vatsalya Bhav. Loving God as a parent loves a child, that she is my child. Yashoda, Nanda Baba, Dasharath, Kaushilya, Devaki, Vasudev, etc. And the highest relationship, Madhurya Bhav. Loving God as a lover loves the beloved. The gopis of Vrindavan. Only example. This is the highest. And the unique thing about this is that the higher relation includes the lower. But the lower does not include the higher. In other words, if someone loves God as a dasya bhav, as a dasa, a servant, and he attains God realization, he can never go higher after that. He only attains up to prema bhakti. There are 8 stages of siddha bhakti, perfect devotion. Prema bhakti, sneh bhakti, man bhakti, pranay bhakti, rag bhakti, anurag bhakti, bhavesh bhakti, mahabhav bhakti. So he attains, that person, that devotee attains only up to prema bhakti. Sakhya bhav includes, along with friendship, it includes servitude. Loving God as a servant. That devotee goes higher. Prema bhakti, sneh bhakti, man bhakti, pranay bhakti. Higher than that's Vatsalya Bhav. That includes love in God and the friendship as well as the servant. Includes as well as parental love. Such a devotee attained in God goes beyond prema bhakti, sneh bhakti, man bhakti, pranay bhakti, rag bhakti, up to there. And higher than that, madhurya bhav. In this there are many classes also. Many classes. I want to go in detail. This devotee, the highest class of course, goes beyond all. Crosses anurag bhakti, bhavish, mahabhav, the highest. So, if we want to attain the highest, first to begin, Guru, the Guru you have, he has to attain that or be in that class. Someone can only give what he has or what she has. If the Guru himself is the Dasya Bhav saint, then he cannot give Mahabhav Bhakti. So if your Guru is of that stage, that classification, he will give the highest, if he is of the highest. So, Jagat Gurutam Shri Kripalu Mahaprabhu always enjoined us for the highest to practice Madhurya Bhav. In that, all the rest are included. Besides love of beloved, parental love is there, friendship, servitude. For example, just a simple example, a wife. Take the example of a wife. Besides being a lover to her husband, she's also a friend. At times they will sit and talk about things in the family, discuss things that have to be done. So she's a friend to him. She serves him, so the Dasya Bhav is there. And she treats him like a son also. Hey, you're not eating enough properly, eat some more. Oh beta nahi kahenge. She's not going to say my son. But she treats him. That is also included, understood. So all the relation. In other words, one who is loving God in the Madhurya Bhav can come down when they feel like it. Today I feel like worshipping Shri Krishna as my master. Today I feel like loving him as my friend. Today I feel like loving him as my child or parent. And most time I love him, I want to love him as my beloved. You're free. So we aim for the highest. So these relationships. We have to make a relation with Shri Krishna. Very important. We have to bring him down to our level. Then we can love. The part of bhakti, why is it so easy? Because we don't have to learn anything new. This pyar, this prem, we already know how to love. We know how to love mummy. We know how to love daddy. We know how to love a child, a brother, a sister, a friend, parent. We know all this. All we have to do is take that love now that we know in the world and transfer it to Shri Krishna. That is the bhakti. So we know how to love already. Nobody has to come and teach you, okay, I'm going to teach you how to love Shri Krishna as your beloved. No, we know already. I have to teach you how to love him as your father, as your mummy. No, we know. And every relation of the soul is only with Shri Krishna. Mata, Pita, Bhrata, Sharanam, Suhit. Every relation only with Shri Krishna. So it's a natural relationship. So we have to make that relationship. In our sadhana, we have to practice. Now, having discussed all of that, let us go now into sadhana. We'll touch into it and then we'll continue the next lecture. we're about to do sadhana, what to do? First thing, we have to go into solitude, isolation. In other words, when doing sadhana bhakti, we have to be alone. We should not be with anyone. When you're doing satsang, all of that is good. But when you're doing sadhana, your own personal sadhana, you have to be alone. The Bible says, thou when thou prayest, enter in thy closet and shut the door. Matthew verse 6, chapter 6 verse 6. This doesn't mean we have to go in a mountain cave or somewhere in the forest. We don't have to do all of that. In our home itself, we have to find some room, your own bedroom, or some room that you have dedicated to do sadhana. That you can close the door and lock it. Some place you can be alone. Look, the reason for this is our mind is very chanchal, wayward. Chanchalam hi manah Krishna pramati balavadhidham tasyaham nigaham manye vayuriva sudushkaram. Chapter 6 verse 34 Gita. Shri Krishna is saying to Arjun, control the mind, control the mind. Arjun, he is saying how to do this. The mind is so strong, turbulent, unruly, unyielding. It is as difficult or more difficult to control the mind than it is to control the wind. So, this unruly mind, this wayward mind, this isolation will help. That's why the isolation is so important, to keep away distractions. The Vedas says, Virvikta Sevi Lagu Bhavi. A lamp in a windless place, flicker it not. So this isolation will help to keep this mind, this fickle mind, from wandering. Look, the world can be compared to water and our mind to yogurt, dahi. Milk, doodh. Now if you mix milk in water, it becomes almost impossible to separate the milk from the water. Almost impossible. But if you take the milk, after you get the milk from the shop or from the cow, you take the milk and you boil it in a pot. Boil it. Let it boil. And then let it cool down. Take it out of the fire, let it cool down. Not cold, to a certain temperature. Warm, not too hot, not too cold. Warmish. Then you take some yogurt, some dahi you have that you could get from the shop or anywhere, and you mix it in the milk. A little bit. Churn it properly. Stir it well. Then place this container, cover it properly and place it in a dark place and leave it for at least 2 hours. All the milk will get converted into dahi, yogurt. Now you take that dahi, that yogurt, and you churn it. Matho. What you will get? You will get makhan, butter. Now take that butter, that makhan, make it into a ball and throw it in the water. Now there is no danger anymore. The butter challenges the water. Mix in me if you dare. So in the same way, this isolation that we're going to practice sadhana, this is making the mind become still. To keep it from mixing with the world, with the water, the milk of the mind with the water of the world. When your sadhana becomes very high, like the butter, then there is no danger. Then you can do what? But we cannot challenge in the beginning. You have to be very careful. So, now, you have gone in the room, close the door, lock it. Especially if you have little kids, etc. in the home. If you don't have anyone, then you can just close it. But little kids especially, they will come in the room and you're doing sadhana, Mummy. That's the end of your sadhana. So close the door. Now, having come in the room and shut the door, there are certain rules we have to follow. There are 3 mantra in the Vedanta Sutra, 3 sutra for meditation, for doing sadhana. Number 1, Asina Sambhavat, Brahma Sutra. First thing, we have to sit. When doing sadhana, palti marke, cross your legs, like how I'm sitting here. You don't have to do full lotus, and put the one on top of the other. No, you're not doing yoga. Just cross it like this and sit. This is the best position. We cannot do meditation, we cannot do sadhana lying down on the bed. You'll fall asleep. Sitting in the chair, you get lazy, and then you may fall asleep too. If you stand up, you get tired. So the sutra, the Brahma Sutra says, this is the best position. Asina Sambhavat. Cross the leg and sit like this. First sutra. Second sutra, Achalatvacha Peksham. Brahma Sutra. Be alert. Keep the back straight, especially in the beginning. Be alert. A lot of times, even in the sadhana, we come to the mandir, we come to Yugal Kunj, and everybody looks for a wall. Right? We have to be so comfortable. And what happens? You get so comfortable, you fall asleep. A lot of people sitting on the chair, oh, kirtan is going on, they're singing Hare Ram, and one lady said this is the best place for her to sleep. When she wants to take a rest, she doesn't even go in her room. She comes in the hall, in the sadhana hall to sleep. So we cannot be too comfortable. Sometimes we do have problem, knee and the feet, so you have no choice but to sit in a chair. But it's not the best. The best position for doing sadhana is crossing the leg like this and being alert. Any kind of slackness in posture will cause the fickle mind to wander. So we have to be alert. As your sadhana increases, then you can be slouched, you can lie down, you can do anything, because now you've reached a very high stage. Before that, you have to be very careful. And number 3, dhyanacha. Dhyan means meditation. We have to do Rup Dhyan. One of the most unique thing that Jagat Guru Tam Shri Kripalu Mahaprabhu has given to the world is this thing called Rup Dhyan. All the scriptures and many saints in the past, they've all mentioned Dhyan, meditation. But Kripalu Mahaprabhu has given so much emphasis on this word Rup Dhyan. Most important. He always stressed that if you go for sadhana, even now, in Bhakti Bhavan and Bhakti Dham, or Prem Bhavan, Prem in Vrindavan, Prem Mandir, etc. Wherever sadhana is being done, throughout the hall, this word is written everywhere. Roop dhyan kijiye, roop dhyan kijiye. Please do roop dhyan. And it's lighted. So important. Roop means form. Dhyan means meditation. Meditate on the form of Bhagavan, on the form of Radha Krishna, on the form of the saint who is Radha Krishna personified. Someone asks the question, what if I meditate on the qualities, etc.? That's also there. Shri Krishna has 6 things. Naam, Roop, Leela, Gun, Dham, Sant. These 6 things. Naam means name, uncountable names. Roop, his form, uncountable forms. Leela, divine pastimes, uncountable. Gun, virtues, uncountable. Dham, his divine abodes, uncountable. Sant, his divine saints, Rasik saints, uncountable. Any one of these we can take hold. Each one of these contain all the rest within itself. All are equal. All the 6 contain all of them within each one. So we can take hold of anyone and we would be doing Roop Dhyan. Anyone. Most important though is the form. Meditating on the form. Now someone may ask the question, how can I meditate on the form of Sri Krishna when I have never seen him? Never seen him, but I see Radha Krishna, I see Sitaram, I see Hanuman, I see Shiv, Durga. That's not Bhagavan. That's not Bhagavan? Then what is it? That's somebody's impression, a worldly person. चिदानंदमय देह तुम्हारी विगत विकार जानी अधिकारी. Just as God is divine, Chidanandamay, his body, Deha, is also divine. Everything about Sri Krishna is divine. His body, his complexion, his clothes, everything is divine. How can a material person using material things create divine? Even a saint, one who is seen Radha Krishna, cannot tell us what they look like. Why can't they tell us? They're seen. They're seen. But if they were to tell us, we will never understand. Go gochar jah lagi man jai, so sab maya janehu bhai. You see, our mind, our intellect, our senses, those things that we grasp, we understand, we can see, hear, smell, taste, touch, etc. with, they are all material, under Maya. And everything about God is divine. If a saint were to tell us divine things, we will never understand. Impossible. So what the saints have done, they have taken things that are the best in the world. The best. And they say, he is something like that. Something like, not that. To describe the beauty, the complexion of Sri Krishna's body, so many things have been used. Example, the blue lotus, this blueness of the sky, the young rain-laden cloud, etc. but something like that. So they know, the saints know we can't understand divine, so they have to use material examples. Look, you have seen a blue lotus, you see the sky, young radiant cloud, nobody falls on unconscious with bliss. You look at the Murti of Radha Krishna, no one falls down or is loving. We may love our children, husband, wife more. So these are examples to help us. But the saints goes on to explain to us that whatever you think about, understand, number one is material, and number two, that even if it's the most beautiful thing in the world, that Shri Krishna is infinitely more beautiful than that. Mero pyaro pyaro murali varo ja par kaam karo ranvaro. Beautiful Kirtan written by Jagat Guru Tam Shri Kripalu Mahaprabhu, which is expressing the philosophy of the scriptures. How beautiful is Shri Krishna? The most beautiful person in the material world, most beautiful man, is someone called Kamdev, the god of love. To describe how beautiful Shri Krishna is, the scriptures are telling us that the beauty of uncountable Kamdevs combined cannot even compare to how beautiful Shri Krishna is. We can't even imagine how beautiful Kamdev is. Then how can we even think about Shri Krishna? So, the saints understand. And God knows also He is causelessly merciful. So Shri Krishna says, don't worry. I will accept whatever you meditate. In that picture, in that murti that is in front of us, in every particle of that murti, that picture, Shri Krishna is pervading. Eko devah sarva bhuteshu gudha sarva vyapi sarva bhutantaratma karma dhyaksha sarva lokadivasa sakshi cheta kevalo nirgunascha. Shvetashvatara Upanishad, chapter 6, verse 11. The Vedas say, God, Shri Krishna, pervades in each and every particle of the world. In each and every particle of this murti, Bhagwan Shri Krishna is pervading. Radharani is pervading. Sitaram is pervading. So God knows. He knows that we have a material mind. We have a material intellect. We cannot meditate on His divine form. He is going to give us divine fruit for our material meditation. So what we have to do, since we have not practiced in a special way before, choose some photo, picture of Radha Krishna. There are millions and millions, has been drawn by so many artists, but everybody's taste and like is different. Somebody may say, look at a picture of Radha Krishna and say, oh, this is so beautiful. Our next person looks and says, oh my God, I get nightmare if I look at that. Due to our sanskar, mental tendencies from uncountable lifetime, every person's interests and taste is different. What someone may love, somebody else may hate. So of your liking, choose some picture, some photo, and put in that room. Create an environment that is going to help you. All right? Shri Krishna is going to give us divine fruit. Don't worry about it. Know that in every particle of this murti, this picture, Shri Krishna is pervaded, and that this is Shri Krishna Himself. This is Radharani herself. This is Shri Maharaji Himself. And meditate like that. There's much more we have to know about doing sadhana, but I will stop here today. Bole Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki, Srimad Sadguru Sarkar ki, Bole Radha Rani ki, Siyavar Ramchandra ki, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, जय जय श्री राधे, जय जय श्री राधे।